Shakur Stevenson, he is silencing his critics. And when I tell you this guy had a very gutsy win over William Zepeda, he proclaimed, I got that dog in me. You got what I'm saying? Now, Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda, they had a great fight. I don't know if you tuned in to watch the Shakur Stevenson fight on Saturday night, but I thought, according to Turkey Al-Sheikh, it was going to be a cautious, defensive Tom and Jerry performance. And if you thought that's what it was going to be, think again. You thought wrong. You know what I'm saying? So in the co-main event of a great stacked card, oh man, it was a pretty good card, man. Ring 3, Louis Armstrong Stadium, New York City. Shakur Stevenson showed the entire world why he belongs amongst boxing's elite. He grinded out a hard-earned unanimous decision over a relentless, strong, and capable William Zepeda, and he retained his WBC lightweight title. I'm telling you, this was a great matchup. The judges scored it 119, 109, 118 to 110 two times, right? So now on paper, that fight seems like a landslide. It looked completely one-sided, right? But when I tell you, you had to see this fight with your own eyes, because it was more competitive and it was very revealing. Even though when you look at the scorecards, it's like, it suggests something else. So anyway, Shakur Stevenson improved to 24 wins, no losses. I think Shakur has, let's say, about 10 or 11 knockouts. But he handed Zepeda his first loss. So right now, Zepeda is 33 wins, 1 loss, and he has 27 knockouts. Yeah, you heard that right. So, this was one of the first times where we saw Shakur Stevenson fight fire with fire. Over the last couple of years, I want to say all of his professional career, Shakur Stevenson has been criticized for kind of playing it safe. He's usually prioritizing defense and movement over action, especially after, we've seen so many different people, change up their game plan and then get flatlined. Because we saw Shakur Stevenson fight Edwin De Los Santos in 2023. And he didn't look so good. But this time he chose to do something different. He embraced the fire. He stood his ground and he traded shots with William Zepeda more than any other time in his entire career. Now, to some, they say that pays off. That paid off for Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, he was dazzling early in the fight. He had signature head movement. He had some sharp counters. But this time when he was really fighting William Zepeda, he wasn't just elusive. He was assertive. He was throwing combinations. He was standing in the pocket. He was kind of landing clean, and I'm going to say snapping shots. And when I tell you he kept Zepeda at a good range, he really did keep Zepeda at a good range. But I will say that Zepeda gave just as good as he got. He's a Mexican warrior. And it looked as if he hurt Shakur Stevenson in round 3 with a perfectly timed straight right hand. And man, when I tell you Shakur Stevenson was stumbling backward, I have never seen Shakur Stevenson stumble back. But instead of retreating, Shakur Stevenson grinned and he fired back. He was basically won over a crowd. He even won over the broadcast team, because we know that Zepeda is always dedicated to bring in the heat. And I say that because from the opening bell, Zepeda made his intentions clear. He was trying to back Shakur Stevenson up against the ropes. He was trying to punish that body, and he was trying to force a very uncomfortable fight for Shakur Stevenson. This guy has relentless pressure. He has an iron chin, and that's what makes him the most dangerous individual that Shakur Stevenson ever faced at 135 pounds. Zepeda, he landed 153 power punches, and that's more than anybody we've ever seen land against Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson is usually a defensive wizard. His body work was brutal, man. You know, I seen him hit Shakur Stevenson in the face more times than I ever seen Shakur Stevenson get hit. Round after round, I saw Zepeda landing shots against Shakur Stevenson. But Shakur Stevenson, he definitely showed a different side of himself. He stayed calm under pressure. He was rolling short. He was doing the Philly shell. He was like Floyd Mayweather type. You know what I'm saying? He was just rolling them shots off his shoulders. He was catching William Zepeda. You know what I'm saying? He was shooting. Hey, he had some real precise counters. Man, I was like, hey, this dude is doing what you're supposed to do. Shakur Stevenson never let the fight get away from him. I thought it was a performance statement, because as the rounds went on, Shakur Stevenson's accuracy was the overarching theme of the fight. Because in the later rounds, William Zepeda, his output has slowed down. And when William Zepeda's output started slowing down, man, Shakur Stevenson, from my perspective, started taking over. He had great exchanges. He had great combinations. He was using angles. He was setting traps. I was like, dang, okay. 10th round. Shakur Stevenson used lateral movement to create space. He wasn't avoiding William Zepeda. But I'm telling you, Shakur Stevenson did what nobody thought he would do. You know, Shakur Stevenson, his power is often criticized. And we saw that he had enough power to make William Zepeda not just rush in and do whatever he felt like he needed to do or whatever he wanted to do. And by the final bell, I think that Shakur Stevenson proved a lot of critics wrong. Now, of course, if people did not like Shakur Stevenson, they still don't like Shakur Stevenson. You know, they was calling him a cautious runner in 2023. They said that, you know, he's not willing to take risks. He's not willing to trade leather. But he just showed the world this time against William Zepeda that he is willing to showcase every weapon in his arsenal. So yeah, Shakur Stevenson definitely got that dog in him, you know, but despite that impressive victory, he is still going to be criticized. And even Shakur Stevenson was kind of critical of himself. You know, he said that he had a point to prove. You know, he took more punishment than usual. But he proclaimed after the fight, he was like, look, I still got that dog. And I was like, yeah, that's true, you do. I think few would argue with Shakur Stevenson after his Saturday night performance. He's still undefeated. He has a very good win over a dangerous, undefeated fighter. Of course, now he's defeated in William Zepeda. So I don't know what's next for William Zepeda, but he got this aggressive edge to him. Shakur Stevenson proved to the world that he's not just a defensive individual. William Zepeda showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit, but he didn't have enough skill to fight at that competitive level every single round. That's just how it is. So Shakur Stevenson showed the world that he has that aggression in him. He's a top name in his division. Now, a lot of people don't know the history of the individuals who created Tom and Jerry. They don't know the early cartoons of Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry was rooted within the antebellum South. A lot of racism. A lot of racism. When the first cartoons were created, it was a lot of racism. So Tom and Jerry are forever racist cartoons, even though they stopped promoting the racism within the cartoon. But it has its foundation rooted in racism. I know Shakur Stevenson does not know this. So, but I do know that Turkey Al-Sheikh knows that. So when he said that it was Tom and Jerry, he knew that he was being racist. But to the average person who don't know the research, who didn't do any, reading, they don't even know. But I know the racism that's attached to it. Shakur Stevenson, if he really wanted to be effective, what he should have done is box how Shakur Stevenson boxed. This guy let everybody pull him out of his own style to fight like William Zepeda. He stopped being mobile, became stationary so that he could fight William Zepeda's fight. That is the most ridiculous course of action I have ever seen in my life. Even if you got that dog in you. Who cares that you got the dog in you? Fight your own fight. Create your game plan for your fight. Turkey Al-Sheikh ain't in the ring fighting for you. I understand you want to get that bag. He offering big bags. I get it. Boxers need to fight their own fight. These fans don't care if you're living or if you're not. So you need to make the decision that is best for you. And guess what? Rock'em sock'em ain't it if that's not your style. Now, if rock'em sock'em robot styles, if that's your style, then okay, that's your style. But no, man, don't try to fight the fight that Turkey Al-Sheikh wants you to fight. Fight your own fight. Because I'm telling you, when you're in the hospital and you healing up, Turkey Al-Sheikh ain't gonna be there.